Hi, I'm Josh at Freedom Dental Care, and I'm with Deb Bupert of Bupperts Farm, and we are in the middle of National Gardening Week, and they have been serving our community since 1951. Deb, would you mind giving us a little bit more about the farm, and then we'll take a tour?
Our parents, Dorn and Helen Bupert, bought this farm in 1951. They really had this desire to farm and grow food. When Dorn was growing up, he helped his father with a little patch garden and loved it. So this was his desire, was to have a bigger piece of property that he could farm. Jump forward to when Joe was growing up, and Joe and his brother Frank were selling corn and tomatoes out on Liberty Road, and we decided to try to make this a business that we could bring the people to us. And so we started with a little roadside piece and then grew to this bigger market.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and take a tour around, and maybe we can start the perennial.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we made it over here to the perennial area of Bupperts Farm, and this is considered maybe a garden center.
Yep.
And perennial gardening is one of my favorite types of gardening because these plants come back year after year. And we're standing right behind some of the herbs that are available, like sage, thyme, mint. All of these have different antibacterial properties which help fight against some of the harmful bacteria that might be found in your mouth. Also, Deb, besides just the herbs, what other types of perennials can we find in your garden, and what are some of the healthy benefits of perennial gardening?
Right. So perennials, like you said, come back year after year. And one of the things that comes to mind right away is just the flowers that are attracting it's a symbiotic relationship. So the flowers are attracting bees or butterflies, moths even. They're collecting that nectar from the flower for them to survive. What it's doing in reverse or in support of the flower is pollination. Pollination is carrying that pollen from one blossom to the next, keeping that life of those plants going. So without the pollination, we have no perennial plants. We also have no annuals. So even our vegetables in the field that are annual, but they are relying on that pollination. So the fact that we have flowers, the herbs, the perennial plants that do attract those pollinators are going to give us a regeneration of the plants and flowers and food.
Wonderful. Well, you mentioned annuals. Mm-hmm. Do you mind if we take a visit to your annual greenhouse
Sure.
next?
Sure.
All right, perfect. Okay, so we made it into the annual greenhouse. As you can see, there's full bloom, hanging baskets, there's trays of beautiful flowers that we can purchase. You may know that there's a lot of benefits to having beautiful flowers that are in full bloom around you, but there's also some oral health benefits as well, such as if you're container gardening with annuals, you might find the relief of stress, which could contribute to, if you are feeling stressed, some grinding or clenching of your jaw. So working with annuals, although it's an indirect benefit, could also help your oral health by reducing that stress and relieving some of the clenching and grinding that you might experience. So Deb, love to hear a little bit more about the benefits of annual gardening and what are some of the flowers that we can find at Bupperts.
Yeah. I do think that the stress idea is a good one, and even when you don't realize it, you look back and you go, oh, that was just so worth it. Container gardening is challenging sometimes because the container itself is not in the soil, obviously. So those plants that are planted in there are truly at your mercy. So you have to care for them. Gardening in the soil is great because the plants, once you get them planted, the plants reach for the soil, and usually you're mulching on top, so there's that there's moisture that's held in the soil better. Now you're in a container and things dry out quicker, there's not a lot of moisture coming up from below, so they do rely on you. I think that in itself is a benefit of feeling a little bit of sense of purpose, that you have to care for them just like you might care for a pet, but now these are your things that their life depends on you taking care of them properly.
These are beautiful containers,
Exactly.
hanging pots,
Exactly.
you know.
And
That's
and it looks big, but there's not a lot of room for those roots to go for more moisture. So I tell people, remember to water every day if we have hot, sunny days. Therapeutically, also the grinding, the enjoyment of flowers is definitely, even when you don't realize, if you're stressed out, you know, sometimes I'll feel the stress of just being in this garden center, and I have to stop and catch myself and look at I mean, they're beautiful. They're stunning.
You're brightening a lot of people's days,
And
so you got to remember that too.
Yeah. And another idea, people want to look it up and look for it, but talking about oral health, flower blossoms, and a lot of times those leaves are actually edible, and the edible plants do have, you know, a nutritional benefit in that they are so fresh that you're getting just what the bees get, the nectar from the blossom or whatever. You can throw them in salads, you can freeze them and put them in drinks. So I'm not going to tell you every blossom, but there are some that are definitely have a good taste too.
Great. Well, speaking of taste, love to take a visit over to the marketplace and see what kind of produce you have in there.
Okay.
All right. All right, so we made it into the marketplace, and we have lots of great produce that's all fresh and locally gathered. Deb's actually helping a customer right now, getting some strawberries. Strawberries are great for your oral health. They can help you hydrate, keep away that harmful bacteria that can dry your mouth out. Also, some other things that are in season right now, there's kale, which is great in ascorbic acid and vitamin C, help strong teeth and healthy gums. We also have tomatoes in season that are high in vitamin A, which is good for your soft tissue, like helping your tongue, your cheeks, and your gums. Deb, what else is available here, and how can that help us be healthy?
So I think on the line of keeping your teeth and gums, your gums and your cheeks healthy is in addition to the vitamin C and vitamin A, is the antioxidants, which are little tiny microbes that are in the fruit itself. But antioxidants help regenerate tissue and rebuild the healthy tissue if there is damage. So you're getting antioxidants when you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables. Small fruits have are loaded with antioxidants.
Like blueberries?
Yeah, blueberries, cherries, even the peaches and strawberries have a lot of antioxidants. They also have, we're talking about bacteria, so there's bad bacteria in our mouth. There's good bacteria that we need to take in too. So you hear lots about probiotics these days. Everybody's taking probiotics. Well, when you're eating fresh, you're actually getting probiotics because there is good bacteria in the fruits and vegetables, and even on the plant there is good bacteria. We introduce a good bacteria, probiotics actually, when we're planting, when we're starting our little seedlings, we introduce good bacteria to the plant. That translates into a healthier plant and brings that good bacteria into our mouths, just like we take those probiotics. So now you're getting a live probiotic. It's also in the greens, and in the kale and bok choy that we were just mentioning, there is phytonutrients which go along with antioxidants. So the phytonutrients, you hear about eating all your different colors of foods. You're not just greens, but your reds. And there's red bok choy, red lettuce. Those red vegetables have a different probiotic and phytonutrients. So when you're eating all your different colors, your carrots and your beets and your tops of your beet tops have the same phytonutrients. So every time you're eating, you're introducing new and healthier vitamins, good bacteria, good phytonutrients and antioxidants every time you eat.
Which we just got beets in the CSA, which you guys have here, and I didn't know what to do with the tops of them. So I put them in my compost, but I probably should have eaten those.
You could have.
All right.
Next time you will.
I will.
Tomorrow, actually.
Yes, perfect.
And then another point to make in your when you're eating fresh, you are getting more of those nutrients than if you're eating canned or frozen, or even some things that sit on a shelf for a long time in the grocery store. So if you're finding your fresh fruit market, then you're going to eat healthier. You're going to introduce that to your kids for healthier food. And also to remind everybody that while you're eating your fresh, crunchy foods to chew really well, because that chewing process, in addition, helps keep your teeth cleaner and healthier. You like that?
I did.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Deb.
Okay.
National Garden Week. Be sure to visit Bupperts here in our hometown.
Okay.
And come back often.
Yes.